today I have a very special topic and a very special guest. Now, if you're anything like me, weight has been a bit of a challenge, just putting it a little bit lightly. I love my food. In my Chinese astrology, my eating god is really, really strong. So I love my food. And I celebrate with food, or I wallow in my emotions also in food. And so there's always been a struggle with that. And when I got into a conversation with our guest expert today, Marsha Rock, I've known her for many, many years. So when she started this journey, and we'll talk to her obviously a little bit more, I got really, really excited. And I know I want to share her message with all of you guys here. So we're talking about inner Feng Shui for weight loss. So feel free to share, comment on Facebook or YouTube, and let us know if this is something that you've had an issue with, right? Struggle with, just like me, just like many other people. And also, I might be coughing a little bit, so just I'm gonna apologize in advance. I have some leftover health glitches from last month, so I'm still going over that. So just apologize for my coughs here and there. But let me bring, hello Tanuja, hi Steve, Mervin, oh, from Joe Baruch, cool. Freya, Lucy, Elizabeth, Grace, Yoli, Moon, Patricia. Oh my gosh, we have people from all over the place. We have Malaysia, Tahiti, US, Vancouver, Bosnia. This is so amazing. People all over the place. So let me bring this beautiful woman, Marsha. Hey, let us know. Hopefully. And Marsha is, actually, we've been personal friends for quite a while now. And how long has it been? At least 12, 13 years, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, around that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And we've always meshed really, really well, especially when it comes to spiritual topics, in terms of attraction and everything. And so I know, and Marsha is a powerhouse, you guys. Once you guys hear the message that she has to share with you today, and even the message that she has to share with the world, I am absolutely so excited for her and excited for the people who are coming into the knowledge and the wisdom that she has for us. So let me introduce Marsha a little bit here. So Marsha Rock, she calls herself a transformationalist and a shedologist. So we're going to talk a little bit about what's shedology, right? She's the creator of a weight release method called SHED, which stands for Sense Healing Every Day. Through her journey of weight gain and weight loss, she realized that there is more to weight loss than diet and exercise alone. My gosh, we know that, right? Like everyone says diet and exercise, but there's one big piece missing that still keeps many of us struggling, even to this day for me, right? She began writing her first book by using one of her healing tools, journaling. And those of you manifesting code know I love my journaling. And this led to the birth of her amazing online program. Marsha believes that the tools she uses every day are a roadmap to your transformation. And through her program, which we may talk a little bit about as well, she helps us dig deeper and tap into our own intuition to discover what will work for us in terms of weight management and to produce meaningful and, most importantly, lasting results, because we don't want that yo-yo journey, do we? Welcome, Marsha. Say hello to Marsha.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me, Safrina. It's really a joy to be part of this conversation, to be introduced to your community. Like Safrina was saying, we've known each other for years, and she's inspiring me so much with what she's doing. And so for her to ask me to speak to her audience, it's really a privilege. So I'm super happy to be here.
Oh, not a problem at all. It's I'm to be honest, I'm really, really excited about today. So I'm so glad we're doing this. Just let's go start into the meat right now, okay?
Yes.
I know I titled Inner Feng Shui for Weight Loss. Now, just as a backtrack, you guys who have followed me for any amount of time, you know I talk about external feng shui, obviously, but also inner feng shui, which is the energy inside of our hearts, our bodies, our soul, our past lives, our karma, right? So that's inner feng shui. Sorry. But I knew when I put up the headline for this live stream, Inner Feng Shui for Weight Loss, I knew Masha wasn't going to like the word weight loss. Now, can you explain a little bit why you don't like that phrase?
So this is why in my bio, a loss is in quotes, weight loss. Um, Anything you lose, you will eventually find again, right? And so it's all about mindset, it's all about vocabulary. And really, when we talk about losing, nobody likes to lose anything. You lose your keys, you lose your mind, you lose your perspective. Nobody wants to lose anything. And so when we talk about the process of losing weight, it's really through conventional diet and exercise. And then what happens is that there's the component, like Safrina was saying, that is missing, that has us yo-yo dieting and going through this roller coaster. And so this is why we talk about gradual release, about shedding, really shedding the layers. And so making the transformation last and be really permanent. I don't hear you, Safrina.
Sorry, I muted myself because of my
Yeah.
cough. Yeah, that is so amazing. And I've always been a proponent of whatever it is that you want to change, it has to be holistic.
It has
And
to be.
it has to be. I can tell you, I've worked with nutritionists, I've done God knows how many programs. And to be honest with you, just last month, I signed up to 2 different programs, like one for hormones for over 40, and then the other one for intermittent fasting. But then I knew it wasn't holistic enough. I'm not addressing the situation in all the important perspectives, right? I'm not hitting it everywhere that I need to hit. So what do you mean by going beyond diet and exercise to create that lasting transformation?
So just like you mentioned, those hormone programs for over 40 are super popular. And keto and intermittent fasting is super popular. And that's really the how,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And we know what to do. We know we have to move more, and we know what we have to limit, sugar,
Yeah.
right? We know that. However, what happens is that we have to go beyond that. I believe that shedding weight is an inside job. And like you said, inner feng shui. And it's really about digging deep and really connecting with the behaviors that have led us to this place to begin with, right? It's about exploring that pattern and that connection we have with shame and guilt. These emotions are really triggering, right? You start to feel shame and you start to feel guilt, and you eat more and you feel more shame and more guilt, and it's kind of a revolving door. And so this is why we have to go beyond diet and exercise. It doesn't matter what you do. There's some techniques that are super simple where you can do 30 seconds of exercise before every meal and you would maintain your weight. That's really simple. But how is it that we don't engage and we don't do it? It's because we need to connect beyond that.
And and that's the thing, right? Like we know especially with weight loss, there's a lot of self-sabotage, there's a lot of inner junk, right?
Yes.
Things that we think about ourselves, or are maybe how we grew up and everything. How does one go about trying to figure out what's that inner feng shui that's blocking them?
Well, that's exactly what we do. First of all, we bring awareness to the issue. A lot of us are engaged in mindless eating. You know, we're going through this emotion. We had a stressful day at work, and we have the piece of cake or the glass of wine or whatnot in our mouth, and we didn't even realize that something happened that triggered us to that behavior. And so we need to bring awareness to the behavior, and then look at our beliefs. You know, I know you do a lot of Abraham Hicks, and Esther always says, you know, your situation is an indicator of where you are internally. So whether it's financially or it's your body, it's really an indication of where you are in that particular area of your life.
Mm-hmm. Very, and that's the thing. It's a yeah, an indication. It's a projection,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So, and really, to be honest, if you target one thing, you slowly fix other areas in your life as
Yes, it
well.
spreads through because I look at shed and I say you can apply this to your finances, you can apply this to your relationship, you can apply this to your career. And we explore the
Yeah.
personality types that we are and that keeps us in these patterns. And
Mm.
then we dig into what are the tools that we can use for these different personality types.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit more about Shed. I,
So, one of the things about shed is the reason why initially we do not talk about food and exercise because it is a very triggering topic, right? And the minute I say, let's say, okay, I'm going to say eliminate sugar, eliminate carbs, eliminate dairy, everybody goes like, oh my God, you're taking away my comfort food. And so that's besides the point. That goes again into the what, right?
mm-hmm.
And we're not focusing on what to do because I know all of us, we know what to do. It's really, we don't look at that at all. And
Yeah.
so the first program is a 5-week program where we really dig deep into our behaviors, our beliefs, and then we have practical actions and applications that we can use on a day to day to start bringing the awareness and shift the energy. Now, I'm looking into doing a shed phase 2 where we will talk about diet and exercise. But you know what she was saying initially is this is a roadmap for you to find what works for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want anybody to feel like, well, Marcia said I should eat this and I shouldn't eat that and I should go exercise this way and that way. Everybody's body is different.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to connect with what you choose for yourself because that's how you're going to be able to sustain it long term.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the reason why we see all these books, easy way to lose weight, and they're very motivating, but it's not your own. And so this is what we want to
Yeah.
develop together. Find your own way that you'll be comfortable and say, you know what, I'm just going to walk 4 days a week. And like one of my cousins, she walks at lunch. I have my running shoes under my desk at work and I wear my high heels every day. So so I have my running shoes and I go for lunch and I then we go for a walk. You know, you can do that. And it really you have to find the solution that works for you. Moms are busy
Mm-hmm.
and it's not necessarily a first thing in the morning. I'm going to wake up at 6 o'clock when actually the kid woke you up at 5:30, right?
Yeah.
And so you don't have necessarily control over it. So we work for you to discover, oh, you know what? I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that. And oh, that worked. I really like that. I'm going to stick with it. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's the point of shed.
Yeah. And actually, I just realized you have a very interesting journey as well in terms of like, the journey that also brought you to discovering this method that
Yeah.
honestly, when Marsha shared with me the method how she connected this method and how it can help with weight loss, I was like, oh my gosh, that is brilliant. I was like, Marshall, you have to talk about this more. It is your service to the world because
Yeah.
you would think with all the information that's floating out there in the world, there's no one's putting the pieces
Pieces
together.
together. And
Yeah.
you know,
So
you
tell
say,
us. Yeah.
and it moves me because I really do believe it's my message to the world because it's, you know, diet plus exercise equals results, that's there's a piece of the equation that's missing. It's an
Big
inner,
piece.
it's
Yeah.
really an inside job. I read this book like maybe, I don't know, I would say 15 years ago, that she used to say it's not about food. And it really isn't. You know, in my research, I was looking at this a study where this man did this diet where he was eating Twinkies, Oreos, and Doritos all day. And because he did a an exploration of calories in, calories out, he was able to lose 27 pounds on the Twinkie diet, right?
Okay.
So it's not about food.
Yeah.
It's how much we eat and why we eat so much, right? And so we have to look at our emotions. We have to look at our triggers. And
Mhm.
so one of the reasons why I called the program Shed, it all had to do with shedding and releasing. And then eventually what came to me is sense healing every day. Because on our journey to weight loss, we become obsessed with the numbers. We
Yes.
become obsessed with the pounds and we want to see the needle move. And with Shed, because it's an internal program, you know that the needle may not move as fast. But the point is your behavior that starts to shift on a daily basis. You come home and you have that feeling, and instead of eating a bag of chips, you feel, you know what? Let me go journal. Let me go do some tapping, right? And these are the tools we explore. And then let's say you do start eating the chips and you say, hey, why am I eating this? I'm not hungry right now. Those are the key moments where you see that there's a shift in your behavior. And that's what's going to eventually shift the needle. I mean, digital numbers nowadays,
Yeah.
but that's what's going to eventually going to shift, you know. Oh, this fits a little less tight because the behavior starts to shift because you go back to your tools. And then there's a multitude of different tools and you pick the one that works for you. Those are the ones that work for me, but together you can say, you know what, I tried tapping and it really worked. Safrina introduced me to tapping like 10, 12 years ago when we first met. And I just reconnected with it. And really, it's amazing, right? So when you start overeating and in the middle of it, you realize, oh, I'm overeating, and you just start tapping, you know, I forgive myself. I am enough. I am safe. And then you just tap that. And
Mhm.
then all of a sudden, that hunger start to dissipate. And the key is
And
really to be present and to
yeah,
use it.
be present and also self-aware when you
Yeah.
feel like you're ready to reach for a bag of chips. Ask yourself, okay, what's happening
Yes.
inside of me? What am I thinking? What am I feeling that's prompting me to go for that? And just like, you know, Marsha mentioned, like more than 10 years ago, I introduced tapping to her because she had a tendonitis.
Yes.
And I told her it's more than just the pain. We need to go under why you're in pain. And we went further enough to realize that she's only hurting at work because she didn't really have great feeling about her career at that time.
Yes.
So we hit her feelings about her job situation and the tendonitis went away.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I remember the bone used to protrude here. And I went to see a physio and they were like, no, there's nothing broken. And I'm like, but why is it sticking out? And we did the tapping and the pain went away. And then one day I just noticed that the bone was just back in its
Yeah.
place. And so tapping is one of the tools that I use definitely. And then we explored these different tools. And what Safrina was saying, it's very interesting, is that we know that we have to go beneath the surface when we are dealing with any emotional issue or physical issue, right? And so, how do we not think that we have to do that for weight loss?
Yeah,
Loss.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like I know for me, food is a very emotional thing for me. Whenever I made more money, I would spend more on groceries because
Yes.
I grew up with a mom. She was very frugal, but that also meant that she, like, you know, she was very careful with groceries, right? Grocery shopping. So food meant abundance,
Yes.
right? So
It's the
obviously,
same for me.
yeah. And at the same time, food is also became my therapy.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the thing. It's not just the diet alone or just the exercise alone. It's just hitting that superficial layer. And actually, Cindy here, Cindy says, it's a change in lifestyle, isn't it? It is,
Yes,
but not in the way that most of the books or the experts tell you. It's a
exactly.
change in lifestyle here
Yeah.
and here.
Yes.
And in a sense, and I tell people in manifesting code, in a sense, working on the deeper stuff takes more courage, takes more, you need to be more prepared to do the work, because sometimes it's things that we've hidden, you know, skeletons in the closet or whatever.
Hidden
But
from ourselves for
yeah,
so many years.
yeah, things in our subconscious, right? All the junk. Talk about the shed in your backyard. Going
Oh,
back
yeah.
to that, because I thought shed meant shedding weight, but Marsha said no, her shed meant something else.
No, shed does mean shedding weight,
Yeah.
but when she was talking about Shedology, so Shedology is another company that's talking about sheds in the backyard. And typically, what's very interesting is that we take a lot of the junk that we have and we put it in the shed in the backyard. And so
And you don't think about it.
no, you don't think about it. And, in a sense, that's what shed is. We have to look at what's going on beneath the surface. I feel like I keep repeating
Yeah.
myself, but when Cindy said it's a change up in lifestyle, for sure, because one of the things we talk about in shed is we go on a prescribed diet for an X amount of time, to lose 10 20 pounds for an event, and then after that we go back to eating the way we ate before, which what led us to where we are in the first place. And so how do we think that I'm going to do this for 3 months, I'm going to lose 20 pounds and then go back to my usual way of doing things and not gain the weight back, right? But that's how we've been educated. We've been misinformed for years, right? And so that's why we look at changing the lifestyle, but it doesn't mean eliminating all the foods that you love. It doesn't mean being on this strict regimented approach. It really means the mindset. What do you believe about what you deserve? It's about how do you put yourself first? How much do you love yourself? I know it's been, talked about a lot, loving yourself, but we really have to look at how do we put ourselves first, as I see the word love above my head,
Oh, yes.
right? And that's really what we dive into.
Yeah. I know I'm putting you on the spot. This is not something that we prepared for, but if like if there is one thing that people watching right now um, can do as a start off point, what can the one thing that they can start doing to start shifting or gaining that insight in terms of their relationship with their weight, not just the food, not just the diet, but their weight in general?
So I know this triggers a lot of people because your naturopath probably had you do it, but it's a food journal. And the way I look at the food journal, which is really different, is to look, who are you with when you're eating a specific way?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
What emotions are you're going through, and what time of the day, right? And so what you start to notice is, oh, I skipped breakfast and I'm super agitated. And then by lunch, I'm hangry and I'm ready to bite everybody's head off, right? And then because I didn't eat breakfast, I have a super humongous lunch. I know some people that eat really late at night because they're lonely, and when they're with certain friends that engage in feasting and drinking a lot, they also do that, and that's why they sabotage. And so really to pay attention to when, where, who, right? And what time.
Ah,
Those are really key, because now you're starting to bring awareness and you're like, oh yeah, when I'm with my friend Michelle, I tend to eat a salad because Michelle eats a salad, right? And so, and she impresses me and I kind of emulate her behavior. And so, you know, when they say that we are a representation of the 5 people that we hang around the most,
yeah.
right? It's
It's
even in your
usually financially
eating.
related. Yeah,
And
but
it's even in your eating. You know, when I'm the only person who's like not eating fries at the table, everybody's like, indulge. Come on, spoil yourself. You can do it once in a while. And it's not that I don't, but you start paying attention to that. And those are the key that are going to start to make you realize that, oh, yeah, late nights are really a thing for me. And what am I really going through emotionally that is triggering that behavior?
that is, see, that's the thing. It's that little, not so little missing piece that's affecting so much. Like, how many of you have heard, do a food journal? How many? Raise your hand. I have, right? But the food journal doesn't go deep enough to, just like Marsha said, time of day, who are you with? What are you feeling? That's the missing piece, you guys. That is the missing piece. And so, yeah, Oyuki was saying, I eat worse when I'm alone, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Because, you know, this is the shame and guilt I was talking about. We have this secrecy around food. And so, because we feel that shame, when we're alone, we feel like, okay, I can do whatever I want, but then we pay the price.
yeah,
And so, that's one of the key things about shed is how to eliminate that pattern of shame and guilt, beating ourselves up. And that starts with language, really,
yeah,
and perspective.
yeah. So this obviously is, like Marsha is saying, it's, this journey has to be as tailor-made, as specific as possible to you, because everyone has different
Yes.
experiences and journeys and, spiritual lessons around a healthier weight, right? A healthier lifestyle. So what Marsha has very generously agreed is to be my masterclass guest expert. We have a masterclass happening this coming Saturday, I believe 11 a.m. Eastern time.
Yes.
If you guys want to take a look, it's bit.ly/manifesting code SHED. Okay, that's going to take you to a registration page. Again, those of you who are in Manifesting Code, so Manifesting Code members get this masterclass as part of their membership. But if you want to just check it out, register for this one masterclass with Marsha, then you can totally do it. Let me just quickly share the page with you. Okay, so I think you guys are seeing the registration page. Marsha, can you
Yeah,
see
I
it?
can see the registration page.
Yeah. Okay. So it's happening in 5 days, 8 hours. We have a countdown. Okay. And in this masterclass, this is something that Marsha couldn't go too much in depth because this is just like a half an hour, 30, 40-minute live stream. But in this masterclass, she's going to go through with us personality types. And I think that is absolutely key. Okay. Which personality type that we have that keeps us from keeping our commitment to ourselves. Okay. And we will go further on how to go beyond food and exercise to create lasting change. And at the end of the masterclass, we are all going to be equipped with tools and techniques to get us to the core of the issue. Okay. So it's going to be, I think we're going to run maybe hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, depending on, the participants. But again, sorry, I should go back to this page here. I mean, if you guys can't join us for the webinar, that's fine. Even with the journaling, I think you would do leaps and bounds
Yeah,
in
definitely.
your weight loss journey. But those of you who are manifesting code, like, let me repeat, in manifesting code, you don't need to register because you get this as part of your membership. If you want to register just for the masterclass, it's a one-time payment of $39. Okay. Or we have monthly manifesting code membership, which is also $39, which gives you replays to this masterclass and previous masterclasses. I go over monthly flying star feng shui placements. You obviously, as you have, it's just like Netflix, right? Every month you have your membership payment, and then you get whatever new content that comes up. So you also get, as long as you're subscribed, that you get current and future trainings. We have group calls, weekly office hours, and a private Facebook group. So click this link if you want just the masterclass, Inner Feng Shui for Releasing Weight, because we don't want it to find its way back to us. Or if you
Exactly.
want to explore if the manifesting code membership might be something you'd be interested in, click on this and it'll tell you a little bit more about what manifesting code is about. But you guys, just if you can spend 2 hours, okay, and arm yourself with this information, I can tell you, even like that one conversation that I had with Marsha was mind-boggling. And I've done self-development for years, you guys. More than half my life I've done self-development, but I've never heard it the way she pieces it together, right? So
And
any
come equipped with some questions,
yes,
and we can really have an exchange on the topic, and really explore what are the tools that you can use for you.
yeah. And before we let Marsha go, because both Marsha and I, we want to celebrate our Canada Day as well.
Yay!
I will be mindful of what I eat. Well, today I'm surrounding myself with happy, positive people. So I should have a good day.
That's good.
Any questions before we let Marsha go? Awesome. No questions? Going once, going twice? Okay, Marsha, one final piece of advice or tidbit that you'd like to leave everyone with?
Like Safrina was saying earlier, often what triggers us are emotions. So emotions come and go, and that's what they are. They're emotions, and they're there to bring your attention to what you're going through or why you're being triggered. And so our tendency is to want to squash the emotion, and we want to put it away and not feel it, but be with. And I know it sounds harder than it is, but just be with it. And the minute you decide to be with it and listen to it, just sit and say, okay, anger, what are you trying? I'm going to give you a small example.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
I'm a jazz singer, and I sang with a jazz orchestra for a few years, and singers came and went in this particular orchestra. We were more than one singer. And this one young girl comes in, and I show up for rehearsal, and it's just both of us that day, and we rotate. And so we have some of the same songs that we like. And so she's going to take that one, and I'm going to take this one. And she starts to sing, and I'm just like, wow, this girl has an amazing voice. And I'm like, oh, I really like the way she does this particular song. And I'm just like, oh, she's great. She's wonderful. And I'm like, I'm good. I'm cool. And then I'm just like, she's wonderful. She's great. And the minute I said, okay, I'm jealous, I'm uncomfortable, I feel threatened, I'm jealous. I swear, I have this thing where when I get this connection, I laugh, cry. And so I started to laugh, cry because I just released that. I didn't try to hide it.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm challenged, I'm jealous, and I feel the competitive nature coming up. And just saying it out loud, I started to laugh, cry inside because I am trying to keep it up, keep my cool. And it was over. we became super close, me and her, and we've had a great relationship. But if I was trying to put aside that feeling of, no, I'm not feeling jealousy when we know really what we're feeling,
Yes.
then it would keep bubbling up. And then, then you start to become petty about it. Oh, well, she has cankles, or, these silly. And so that's the thing. Bring awareness to that
Yes.
feeling, and it loses the grip that it has on you. And so once you do that, then you don't have to go eat that extra bag of chip. You walk home and then you see the corner store, you end up with a bag of chips. You're not hungry, but it's because you weren't able to acknowledge that you were triggered by how good her
Yes.
voice was. And
Yes.
so that's the simple little thing. Be with.
Be with
Be with.
is amazing. Thank you so much, Marsha. Like Oyuki is saying, I learned so much already, and it's only the beginning. So thank
My
you. Thank you.
pleasure.
Again, one final pitch, bit.ly/manifesting code SHED. If you can't join us, so it's happening this Saturday. If you can't join us live, register anyway, because the replay, and you have unlimited replays. And what I love about the unlimited replay is you can hear the same training over and over again, but every single time you'll pick up
Find
something
something.
new
Yes.
that you could be
Yeah.
missing. So
They say we have to hear something 7 times to retain it. So
yeah. There you go. Thank you so much, Marsha, and thank you
my
everyone on
pleasure. My
Facebook and
pleasure.
YouTube.
I'm looking forward to Saturday. Super excited. It'll be fun.
Yay! Me
Yes.
too. Thanks again, everyone. Take care.
Thank you. Happy Canada Day.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello, this is Safrina Kadri from Feng Shui and Prosper, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do try to put out a brand new video every week. So if you subscribe, then you can make sure that you don't miss out on any of the other content that will be coming out your way.